Things certainly happening here in Oklahoma City, evident by this massive site where ground is being broke for the American Indian Cultural Center and Museum. We'll visit with a few people today that are making this wonderful place come to life. All that and more on this episode of Native News Today.
Good morning and welcome to the Native News Today. Gerald Wofford with Jason Salzman. As always, we thank you for joining us this morning, the second week of the year 2007. And as always, we feel like we got a very good program lined up for you, Jason. We've been venturing all over the state, finding those good Native American stories.
Absolutely. And second week of the year, I mean, do you feel kind of fresh? Feel a little bit renewed spirit, I guess?
Like the phoenix, we have rose from the ashes, and we're back up, going strong and ready to go.
Absolutely, man. We're covering the east side of the state for the majority of the year last year, and now we're covering the west side, and really nice to be able to bring the whole state together and a broad scope of information on Native News Today. Indian tribes everywhere. You know, there's 39 tribes in Oklahoma. They're not just here on this side of the state. They're all over, and we're going to be able to cover those tribes, and that's exactly what we're doing, and we're excited for that opportunity. But a lot of great stories today on the show.
Well, our program lineup includes one story specifically from Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Cultural Museum that they're building there. Shoshana Wasserman, very instrumental in that project as well. And Jason had a chance to talk with her and other key figures in that project.
Yeah, that's right, and it's a great project that's been going on, and they've had it in the works for many, many years. So we'll touch on that too. And as well, we have a little bit of culture mixed in there. I know that Indian people love food. We love to eat, and that's one of the biggest parts of the culture, getting together and having the meal, and food specifically is what we're keying on today, the Food Sovereignty Initiative program in the Muskogee Creek Nation. It's kind of this new grassroots type of campaign they got going on, and they're really trying to get it to take hold, and it's doing a good job, because what they're doing is they're wanting people to recognize the importance and the, I guess, benefit of, you know, cultivating their own crops. So.
Well, it's interesting, over 100 years ago, and you hear a lot of people talk about this, you know, how did our ancestors survive? How did they make it, you know, making ends meet, so to speak, raising their own food, growing their own crops, and really just being self-sufficient.
Yeah, there were no Piggly Wigglies back then.
No Piggly Wigglies, no Reesers around or anything, but the initiative program is to show what this tribe, as well as Native Americans in general, can do to be self-sovereign in meeting their own needs from day to day. So we'll talk with Vicki Carhu, Richard Anderson, who are part of that program, and see what they have to say.
And we'll also take a look at some traditional bow making from the Native American perspective, and we'll have a little piece on that. Know you'll be interested in that. So.
Yes, Mike Berryhill, the Communications Department, which we're part of, is being very instrumental in creating this documentary of acclaimed bow maker Mike Berryhill. So all those stories and more here as we roll on with the Native News Today.
Today's world is far different than the one our ancestors knew. But though times have changed, we the Muskogee Creek people remain a strong people. Many of our traditions continue to thrive in today's modern world. For 1,000 years and more we have been here, and we will be here for 1,000 more. Times have changed, but so have we, and the Muskogee Creek people are a part of this time, this country, and this economy.
It's here. It's hot. And it's only at Creek Nation Casino in Muskogee, the ultimate treasure hunt, and it's going on now through April 1st. A Suzuki Boulevard motorcycle, Chevy Silverado truck, and $20,000 in cash prizes are up for grabs, and 20 lucky winners will find their own pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's all happening right off Highway 69 in Muskogee.
Creek Nation Casino, where OK comes to play. Here at the College of the Muskogee Nation, we pride ourselves on emphasizing Native culture, values, language, and self-determination while providing a positive learning environment for tribal and non-tribal students. We encourage our students to be lifelong learners and to strive for personal growth, professional advancement, and intellectual advancement. Muskogee Nation College. Academic achievement, Native values.
Hi, I'm Shoshana Wasserman, Program Planning Consultant for the American Indian Cultural Center and Museum, and I watch Native News Today.
You know, with Oklahoma being one of the major centers of Native American culture in the Southwest, Jason, it's only fitting that an awesome center should be created in honor of Native American cultures and tribes everywhere.
Absolutely, and this is a center, the American Indian Culture Center and Museum, that has been in the works for quite some time, over 3 decades now. They've had this in the works. This has been an idea of a lot of people. It's coming together, and what they really want this center to do is tell a story. Tell a story of the 39 tribes of Oklahoma, not just to the state, not just to the USA, but to the entire world. They expect people to come to this from all over the planet and to see this structure, and it's very worthy of that kind of recognition, because if you look at it, a joint project of Flint Co. and Manhattan, 2 very reputable building companies in Oklahoma. Centennial Builders is what they're calling their joint venture. They are making sure that this is something that people can be proud of for many, many, many years to come. And it's right there in Oklahoma City, and we were able to go and just see how it was going on with the groundbreaking. You look back on a year ago this time, and things were being, the ground was being blessed, and there was a lot of fanfare and everything. And now you really see the actual work part of it being done and digging into the ground, and that must be great for your organization.
It really is very exciting. This project has been in the works for about 30 years. It was about 30 years ago, Robert S. Kerr, the late Robert S. Kerr, and Senator Haney at the time had this vision for this magnificent place that could tell the story of Oklahoma tribes. There's no other state in the United States that has this story to tell. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for all Oklahomans to be very proud of the rich cultural heritage that we have here in Oklahoma. And as you mentioned, a year ago we came to this site and we blessed the ground in a culturally appropriate way to prepare it for what was going to be taking place. And then in the last year, actually, there has been quite a bit of site remediation work taking place. A lot of things to heal this land base, because this was an old industrial oil field. And so there has actually been quite a lot of activity. In fact, if you look out to the site, you'll see that there have been about 350,000 cubic yards of dirt moved onto the site. And this is the beginning of the beautiful central promontory, and at its highest point someday it will raise 90 feet in the air, and you'll have this beautiful view of downtown Oklahoma City and Bricktown. And so as we begin the construction and as we sort of anchor these piers into the ground 50 to 60 feet below, as we go and secure this great institution to bedrock, we're also at the same time creating an institution from scratch. And so right now we're very active out in the communities, working with all of the tribes, trying to get the tribes to determine what story is the significant story to be told about their particular tribe.
Is this structure just a giant story to tell? I mean, you look through the plans and the inner workings of it, and everything you look at inside is just sort of a tale. And you go through and you look, and it's explaining things and talking about the culture. Is it really a giant story?
It really is. And so many people have asked the question, what has taken so long? And that's exactly it. When you do something right, it takes time to do the research, to understand. You have to understand that here in the state of Oklahoma, we have 39 different tribes that come from 12 different language stocks. And so you have such a diversity, and to try to take all of that diversity and create a holistic story was quite a task. The architects have done a marvelous job. As you walk through the the building, and as you look at the plans and you see each of the different elements, we could stop at every single structural element and tell a story about what that signifies. And one example of that is the very first place that you walk into is this magnificent courtyard, and it has these steel pipes, and there are 12 of them, and those 12 pipes represent the 12 languages that are spoken, the 12 language stocks. And then as you move through into the next section, there is a wall that is comprised of 100,000 stones, and that gives us an opportunity to stop and tell the patron about the 100,000 Native Americans that perished or were removed to this place. So every moment in the architectural history, in the construction, and now as we move into the programming, it really does have a story to tell and gives us a vehicle for sharing this great history with all Oklahomans and really the world.
Let's talk about a little bit of the construction of this place now. Well, Chris Pribble with the Centennial Builders, you certainly have to be excited because this isn't just your everyday, building project here. This is something that's going to take time, but in the end, it's going to be worth it. And certainly on paper, literally on paper, a magnificent structure.
Yes, we just feel like it's an incredible honor to be part of such a wonderful facility that this is going to be. We're very excited to finally get this project started.
You look at things like this that really have a deeper meaning and an importance to people that maybe some other buildings wouldn't. How does it feel to be a part of that and to know that you partnered up and the get going from that?
Yeah, this is one of those projects that you'll look back and it's a project that you'll never forget. You'll always hold it very high up on the list of the ones that you've done, and it's just great to be a part of it.
Chris, tell me some about some of the more impressive features and statistics of this building. I mean, some of the stuff that's going to go into this is just outrageous. Like Shoshana was telling us, people are going to come into this place and just be blown away.
Yes, the Central Promontory itself is one of the features that's in our first phase of construction. We started this first phase back in April, and it is a large promontory. It consists of about 350,000 cubic yards of earth that we're hauling onto the job site, and that is just about 20 to 25,000 truckloads of soil that we're importing onto the job site to build it. There's a lot of traffic in and out with the trucks and everything, and they've been hauling for since about June, and they're still hauling. They'll probably finish bringing it onto the job site at the end of this month.
Absolutely. I know you may not like to compare, but maybe just compare it to some of the projects that you've been a part of in the past and where this one kind of ranks in that regard, and if it's at the top or near the top or just... I
would have to say this is going to be one of the highest profile projects that I've been involved with. I've been involved with quite a number of projects in the past, but this one, I believe, as far as I'm concerned, ranks at the top of my list.
And we'll certainly keep you updated on all the construction, everything that's happening, when this museum will be completed and everything. And just in case you're wondering, as you get off Turner Turnpike heading on I-40, kind of heading west, south and away, the I-35 south exit to Norman and Dallas, you know that river area right there. Well, that's where the museum site is going to be. So we'll keep you updated on everything that's happening there.
Absolutely, can't miss it there. We had a chance to visit with two very special people from the Muskogee Creek Nation Food Sovereignty Initiative, talking a little bit about cultivation of crops and the benefits that can bring. And Gerald Wofford was able to run them down and get an interview with these two folks.
And what we're going to do is try to locate the boat ark. But that's what it's about, and that's what we're here for. So hopefully we'll be able to find something that'll be cuttable for making bows out of. And I feel good about it. Hopefully we'll find something today and we can come back and cut it at a later time. Mm-hmm. In every tree, not to say you're going to take the whole tree down to make one bow out of it, but there's a bow in every tree. I feel like you could do that. And I feel like most of our earlier creek bow makers back I'm going to say probably 1900s on forward to probably the 40s, took the real short pieces because you hardly find any boat ark that's real long in museums or in families. That's what I have observed. That's what I've noticed, that a lot of them are real short bows. But see, it changed a lot from the southeast where our people were longbow people, and they mainly went for the longer pieces to make their bows out of, bigger staves, longer staves. After removal time, we kind of lost that longbow warrior status, and it turned into a recreation. And back when my mother was a child and growing up, they had what they called these fish shoots, and they would take whole communities down to rivers like the Deep Fork, and of course that's before the lake was in, and there'd be deep holes of water where your catfish and fish would get holed up in a deep hole, and they'd doctor the water with different types of trees and leaves and medicine and make them fish come up to the top. And then men would go out there, wade out there. When them fish came to the top, they'd shoot them fish. And they done that. That was a big deal. That was a big affair. And they didn't need longbows for that. In fact, they used 3-4 foot bows to shoot their fish with. But there's pictures of that, of people, the men shooting the fish, and you can see the women on the riverbank or creek bank watching them, observing them. This is about right for an arrow shafting here, and that was what size I'd probably pick for arrows. If you'll notice, they've got a little groove. Some do and some don't, but the higher up the groove is more apparent. See that there's a little groove right there. I don't know if you can pick that up or not, but with bamboo, see, you got that groove that runs from end to end, a little more pronounced, a little deeper. And then, just like our river cane, it'll turn 180 degrees and run all the way up that end of it. A channel in there. But this stays green the year round. It's preferable to harvest it this time of year, just like you do your bowwood. But it don't take as long to cure, because you don't have the mass there. That's why it cures that quicker. That's kind of odd there, the way that has grown like that. But this is what we came down here for, a long drive, so.
All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this break with more Native News Today.
Smali, tasaako tsusinili yangi naistun sanga.
Pangana riibe hayat kaus.
Nage, kada magas.
Pangana hayat kidoang noge.
Fanny molo jo subananga.
Tu morsati.
Hitla hani subani doang.
Wat, hiji mokhetsari chin hisakta dastumidanga.
Maar hiji mokke de wekje diga, hisagre dan hiliga, ampane hayat kidoang.
Hilimani, matse.
The Muskogee Creek Nation Tobacco Prevention Program offers all cessation classes to young and old. For more information about a healthier life and a second wind, contact one of these centers nearest you.
Hijida, Hilishwa Fatsa, CNA to the doors, Moes.
Where hiji mokkes kera mokke zak noar stinokesis, stiliji duis.
Today's world is far different than the one our ancestors knew. But though times have changed, we the Muskogee Creek people remain a strong people. Many of our traditions continue to thrive in today's modern world. For 1,000 years and more we have been here, and we will be here for 1,000 more. Times have changed, but so have we, and the Muskogee Creek people are a part of this time, this country, and this economy.
It's here. It's hot. And it's only at Creek Nation Casino in Muskogee, the ultimate treasure hunt, and it's going on now through April 1st. A Suzuki Boulevard motorcycle, Chevy Silverado truck, and $20,000 in cash prizes are up for grabs, and 20 lucky winners will find their own pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's all happening right off Highway 69 in Muskogee.
Creek Nation Casino, where OK comes to play.
You know, we always feel like it's a unique treat when we're able to bring you a Native American artist who is so acclaimed in what he does. And this next news segment that we'll show you documents a production that the Communications Department is involved in. Mike Berryhill, an acclaimed Muskogee Creek bow maker. And Jason, oftentimes, you know, when we get a chance to spotlight artists and Native American culture and some of the craft work that they do, you know, it's not a stretch to say that a lot of these artists, they're the last remnant of that artwork. They're the ones that carry on that heritage of artwork, and such as the bow making. Well, that is an art, and we're honored to have our department documenting Mike Berryhill, this acclaimed bow maker.
Yeah, and our own Jared Moore has kind of taken the lead on this project and put a little piece together here to kind of give you a sneak peek at this documentary that's being made on Mike Berryhill, who's kind of, you know, carrying the torch and keeping that cultural tradition alive within the Creek Nation. And Jared was able to go out and kind of document his journey on picking the trees and everything, and we have that for you here today.
We thank y'all for joining us this afternoon. And Vicki, I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit about the Food Sovereignty Initiative program, please.
Okay, the Muskogee Food Sovereignty Initiative is a nonprofit, grassroots, community-based program. We are outside of the tribe, but we work closely with the Muskogee Creek Nation. We're addressing food issues and also diet-related health issues that affect the Muskogee people and their neighbors here in this area of Oklahoma. So that's our basic reason for being.
And you're wanting to get a lot of input from tribal citizens, Native Americans in general, in creating a more successful program, teaching people how to grow their own food and just make better food choices, right?
That's correct. And we have received some funding from the USDA program that's called the Community Food Projects Program. We will be going into all 23 of the charter communities of Muskogee Creek Nation. We start this in January. We'll be working on it through June or May, maybe May. And we will be coming out and making appointments with the different communities to have discussions about the food, the needs in the communities, the resources that might be there, and make a good assessment of everything having to do with food. So then we will get a good idea of what to do in the future with our programs.
And that leads us to the connection of this gentleman here on the far side, Mr. Jackson Barnett, who also serves in our Creek Nation Senior Services program. Mr. Barnett, tell us about your interest in this program.
When the announcement was made that something like this was in the works, and they invited all those who might have an interest or might be interested in helping, why, I certainly had an interest in it, because in my younger days, that's how we grew a lot of our food. We did it our own selves, and we didn't have access to an automobile to go to town to buy things. So a lot of this we grew on our own, and I certainly have an interest in this.
And Vicki, one of the ways that you're helping to get the program out there and knowledge and information is this booklet here, right? Tell us a little bit about this booklet, please.
Well, we decided to make a collection of some of the stories and food-related practices, cultural practices of the Muskogee people. We were gifted with some beautiful paintings by a Muskogee artist named Betty Fleming, and that's what inspired us to make the book. So we've put together this book, and it's available through our initiative. Like I said, we're not funded by the tribe or anybody else, so we have to raise our own money through grants and through fundraising activities. So this is a fundraising activity. The book contains 4 of her paintings. One's on the cover, and there are 3 more inside, and they're frameable because we didn't put any print on the back of them. So it's really some beautiful artwork, along with some articles. Mr. Barnett wrote one about the old way of fishing. So, and to refer back to what said about how they used to take care of themselves, that's the reason we named this Muskogee Food Sovereignty Initiative, because the sovereignty means taking control. And in our discussions, as we were pulling this organization together, we realized that the food is one place where the Muskogee people have really become dependent on the dominant society and on the outside world. And if you look at the Muskogee history, especially pre-European contact history, they were taking care of themselves. And Muskogee people have always taken care of their own food needs up until just the last few generations. So we're trying to reconnect to some of that knowledge that's still among the people.
Vicki, if people want to find out about your program and order the booklet, how do they contact you?
They can contact the Food Sovereignty Initiative office. It's at 1429 North Alabama Avenue here in Okmulgee. The telephone number is 756-5915.
Vicki Carhu from our Creek Nation Food Sovereignty Initiative, and Mr. Jackson Barnett from our Senior Services, who is also participating in the Food Initiative program. We appreciate y'all's time this afternoon, and Mr. Barnett, if you would grace our audience here by giving us a Muskogee Creek send-off here, we would really be appreciative, please.
Yanak Puneji Sabakliat Muido Emadok, Hovoniang Gidat, Honbira Umatat, Pomidat, Loksezit, Hombahaniat, Mamistu Emadok, Mamizdan Gumit, Yan Sabaklidos. Monga det moi anezes kuitskinoat aneskada yazagiduido lina savaska gidali imanezes kinoat manadigos in makat marozigedos.
And that's going to about wrap up another program of the Native News Today. As always, we thank you for joining us this morning, and we always feel honored that we're able to bring you these stories that are happening all over American Indian country in the state of Oklahoma. And we want to keep doing that, and we will, but you can certainly help us by contacting us and letting us know the stories that are happening out there.
Absolutely. We can be reached by phone at any time at 918-732-7638. Or if you want to reach us by fax, send us some information there. You can reach us at 918-758-0824, or just send us an email. Mine is jsalzman@muskogeenation-nsn.gov, gwofford@muskogeenation-nsn.gov, and I don't think I have anything else to tell them. It's like I say, always dust the hands off after we give them the contact information. It's up to you, folks.
Help us keep the new year going strong and everything. Help us to bring those Native American stories to you. Let us know what's happening out there. For our producer, Josh Lane, Jared Moore, Jason Salzman, I'm Gerald Wofford. In the meantime, take care and God bless. We'll see you soon.